Welcome, welcome. We are live. Happy 200th episode. Um, Congrats on making it this far. Of course, if you're watching all 200 episodes. Yes, this is the unconventional mindset. My name's Odum, and yeah, we've been doing this for 200 streams, which is kind of crazy. Getting close to a year, I guess, if we're at 365 days. I guess this is a little bit different because it's Monday to Friday, so 200, that's like 200 divided by 5, which is what? 30? No, 200. What's 200 divided by 5? I should be able to know that. 40. That's 40 weeks of streaming. So almost a year already. Anyways, like I said, this is the unconventional mindset. My name is Odum, and what we're doing here, of course, is we're live streaming our process of trying to build ourselves a company that's going to generate $1 million in revenue every single year. That's what we're working towards. And we are building Piixel Pieces, which is going to be a Webflow component and template library. And what are we going to do? I guess we're going to jump right in. But actually, I think I just want to take a minute here and do a little bit of just talking out loud, just as we do here. Just talking about things and talking about how business is going. And I want to talk specifically about this live stream and the process of actually building Piixel Pieces and building the components for it. One of the things that I find really important in business, and this is really, what's the word I'm looking for? The concept is really hit home. Like it's really, emphasized? What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the exact word, but it's emphasized quite a bit if you listen to Alex Ramosi talk, among other people. And that's the idea of really focusing on one thing. Getting really good at something or being really good at something and then focusing all your attention on that thing. Or you could even not be good at it, but if you just focus on it continuously, you'll get better. And you can get to the point where, you can achieve success in whatever capacity you're trying to get at. And of course, I'm really thinking about Piixel Pieces and really trying to focus all my time and energy of building out this component library. But the one thing that I've noticed that I'm struggling with, and it's something that I've struggled with for a long time and I have to work on, is I always have a bunch of different ideas and different things that I do want to do, which end up taking some time and attention away. And in terms of other ideas and even things that I want to do that are outside of Piixel Pieces. But there's also things even within Piixel Pieces that I find are fighting for my attention. And sometimes I'm having a hard time to keep myself focused on the right track. And as an example, this live stream here and Piixel Pieces and building the components, I'm struggling with reconciling the fact that I really want to live stream the whole process of everything that I'm doing to kind of create this history or documentation of like everything that I've done to get to the point of building $1 million company. But then there's also the fact that sometimes I stream for half an hour, sometimes I stream for 2 hours. So I'm inconsistent in the length that I'm streaming. And I'm finding that I'm not taking a lot of time outside of the stream to actually work on the business and work on building the components because I kind of want to do them on stream. So I'm kind of left with a little bit of a dilemma between I want to document everything that I'm doing to build the company, but it's also like I need to put in basically all my time and energy and effort into building this thing so that I can start getting it out there and I can start growing and start experimenting with, now that you have a product, how to sell the product, how to market the product, all these things that I don't know how to do. And yeah, it's going a lot slower than I want it to go. So that's what I'm struggling with, is really making sure that I'm focusing 100% on the mission. And so I'm either going to have to just live stream for a lot longer to do all the work on stream, which is what I can do. Hey Nawaz, how you doing? Thank you for joining the big old 200. Welcome aboard. So I can either take these streams and stream for a really, really long time so I can document everything that I'm doing, which I think will be kind of a lot, but That's one way. Or the second way would be to just suck it up and just understand that I'm not going to be able to capture everything that I do on the business on stream. And there's certain things that I can do that'll just have to be done off stream, which will be working on, like, say, building the components and building some of the product stuff. So that way, when I do live stream, I maybe could even tighten up the stream a little bit more and focus on aspects of business growth and development that I might be struggling with and that other people might be struggling with as well too. So people can kind of learn with me as we kind of develop through this whole process of, trying to build a business, not just the actual building the product, I guess you can say. So those are the things that I'm struggling with. Those are the things that I'm trying to work out in my mind and trying to move forward here because, I just I need to move forward on this and it building components. And yes, I want to have it so that the components are high quality and they're really, really good. But at the same time, that doesn't mean it needs to take like 6 months to build the component library. Like if I just sat down and did the work, like there's no reason why within a month I could have a whole slew of components and templates ready to go. Right. So yeah, you agree. So that's likely the way it needs to go. And I need to make sure that I focus my time, be dead set. I mean, like this is what I have. Like I'm lucky enough that I have my clients. I have this recurring income from the clients that I have right now. And it generally takes an hour or two of my time a day to get my client work done. And I have the rest of the day that I can work on this. So if I put forth the effort and the energy and spend 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, just building these components, I should be able to have this done very, very quickly. So anyways, just a little bit of a ramble, I guess, on this, just introspection, I guess, on, episode number 200 here. So yeah, and maybe we'll put in this thing, where for sure, like I wanted to have this thing done by the end of November for sure, but now it's looking like the end of the year, or maybe like a January 1 or something like that release because I'm just not where I want to be in terms of how many components I have done. And I just need to move faster. So we'll do that. So that being said, let's start building some components and we're going to work on some blog elements. So let me bring up a couple things here on, within Webflow here, because I know I had a few things. Let's open this up and actually maybe that might be good enough. And here, so what we have here, we have the different pages, and I think we'll just stick with putting the different components on different pages just for now, and then we'll figure out exactly how we're going to organize everything, whether each component is going to be on an individual page, which is probably what it's going to end up being when it comes down to it, and that will probably help the copying and pasting. Anyways, I'm not sure how that works yet, but we'll figure all that out. Okay, so let's duplicate this page and we'll call this blog and news or something like that. That's fine for now. Okay, and we'll delete a few of these and and we're going to call this, I don't know what we call this. Blog 1. I'll definitely have to come up with some much better names. Okay. Basic blog layout for basically homepage. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, actually, you know what? I feel like we should come up with an actual collection. like a sample collection. Because when I did it before, when I was trying out different things, so I have this here, but there's no actual collection associated with it. Oh, now here's the issue. I think the reason why I did this and this is not in a collection is because when you cut and paste, when you're cut and pasting things without, or when it has a collection, then I don't think you can do that. You can't cross-platform a collection. Right, so we can't do that. I think that's what it is. So let's do it without a collection. I think that's correct. Right, let's just verify that. Oh, actually we have this site here. I think I wish you could grab some of my company's initial stock. You just have to make me an offer that I can't refuse. I appreciate that though. In terms of thinking that it's going to work. So that actually it really means a lot, and it just helps me keep going and making knowing that I'm kind of on the right track. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, right. So I think we do have collections here. Yeah, we do. So what do we have that would be in a collection? Let's go to, what would be in a collection? I guess into a component. There's not, this isn't collection either. Maybe I haven't even built, I don't think I've even built them yet. Oh, no, I think this thing has a collection in it. Right, so if I copy this as an example, it probably won't paste. Let's see. Okay, it is going to paste, but then it's going to ask for a collection. Interesting. And it does. Oh, so we might be able to get around like it. Let's see. Hey, TestBot. Every time I watch your videos, I feel like I'm improving because most of the people are watching how to make money. Because most of the people are watching how to make money. Or they're wanting to learn. In any event, well, thank you for watching. That's awesome. And I'm sure you are improving. If you feel like it, it means you probably are, which is fantastic. And that's pretty much all we can hope for, is to get a little bit better every single day. And if we're doing that, then that is fantastic. So if we can copy and paste collections, then you still have to link it to a new collection. And if it doesn't have the items. So what was in here? It has all this stuff, but it deletes all this stuff. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do, which will be a little bit sneaky. Well, not sneaky at all, but I think I'll go probably buy a couple subscriptions to other sites that do this and see what they do and see if you can actually copy things that already have collections.
So here's our C major.
Oh, what was that? Oh, I was playing another video I was listening to about music. Where is that? Oh, it was this video. Fantastic video. Anyways, I don't want to play that. Let me close a bunch of stuff here. I was looking for this key. Delete. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, let us, let's kind of build this blog one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a very standard generic 3 column layout. So we are going to put in a div, and we're going to give it a grid. Oh, that wasn't right. Grid, and then we have grid 3 column. Okay, and we can, and then within that, here's where we can give our blog -1, and let's just call it content or container. This is where I think I need to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent with the naming styles and conventions. Let's call it blog, blog1. I think it's the container because it's going to contain everything and not so much the content. Okay, so we're going to throw in an image. The question that I always have too is, what's the best way to display an image? And thinking about how users stick in images in a blog post. So I think there's 2 ways of doing this. There's number 1, just having an image where people can kind of cut and paste and drop their image. And if you look at, let's just see if we can see. Let's just go into here, because I know this has a little blog section. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit more of a, not so much more ramble, but just me kind of thinking about how to organize things. Hey Kevin, how you doing? Glad to see you. Hope you're having a good one. Happy 200th episode. Right. Okay. So actually, let me zoom in again because I noticed that this is probably actually really small. Okay. So, usually when people are in Webflow, they're usually not going in here to actually making a blog post, but they're going through the editor. But I'm logged in here, so we have this. We're just going to be using this anyways to showcase. Okay, so when someone is creating a blog post or a news article, say an editor or whatever, of whatever website, they'll have the ability to upload an image. Now, there's 2 types of people that kind of work a site, usually from what I find. Number 1 is going to be someone who's kind of more graphic oriented. So they're going to understand that on their blog page, they're going to want to have a consistent look and feel for each of the image that they post. So they're going to craft that image in the same aspect ratio and the same size every single time. Like they'll make a 1920 by 1080 or a 600 by 400, 8 by 4, whatever aspect ratio, they're going to keep that consistent. And then they're going to use that as the blog image. The second type of person, which I find is the most common, is somebody that's just going to take a picture, and it could be all kinds of random pictures, different sizes or whatever, and they're just going to drag and drop that picture as the featured image. So the problem comes in when you're designing a blog post with the different, like just like a masonry, right? Where it has blog 1, blog 2, blog 3, whatever, and has more of them. If you just have an image like this, which is all on its own, just an image tag, and you insert the image, it's going to just automatically go to like the 100% width. Of course, if you set it at 100% of whatever the containing element is, in this case, it's going to be in one of the grid sections, right? But then the height of it is going to be whatever height is based on the aspect ratio. So if you have somebody that just uploads images that are of whatever size, then you can have issues with how your blog layout is going to be, because it's not going to be even in terms of the image. So in order to get around that, you can wrap that image in a div tag and basically center that image within that container and set the overflow to hidden. So anything else that goes outside of that doesn't show. So you basically set the aspect ratio of what you want that image to be and away you have it. But then the problem that comes with that is if there's images that have a really wonky aspect ratio, that a lot of it is going to get cut off, or worse, it's going to be tightened up, and then you're going to have like white space on the opposite sides. So there's kind of a dance you have to do between instructing the client and knowing what size images that they should use versus how much of the heavy lifting you should have the theme do. So all that being said, my gut is telling me that probably the best way is to wrap the image in a container and hide everything else that overflows. But, yeah, and that's the other thing too. So when you set it to cover, now I'm thinking about how this works programmatically, is I believe, and I could be wrong, but when you set it to cover, I think it's, yeah. So maybe what you can do then is you set the size of the image, like in here. We set the size of the image. Say we want it, let's just give this an example. We want it 100%, and then we want the height to be 300 pixels. And then if we set the fill to cover, that should keep the aspect ratio and keep it constrained. So that's what I was thinking. So that could be the way to get around that without having to make another container. So if that's the case, let's give this a try here. And let me get an image. Where can I go? Let's go to assets, stock photography, a bunch of stock stuff here. Okay, this is a bigger image. All right. Let's go into assets. And well, this isn't going to stay in here. So let's just throw it into all assets. Okay, this is going to be a larger image. Okay, so let's choose the image. Let's choose this cat. So let's just see. Right. Right. So if you have it in scale, yeah. So yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that is, I think this is exactly what we want. Although the question is, how's its position? It is already positioned center, which is perfect. Okay. No, I think that's great. This is perfect then. So all of that being said, this is the easier way of doing this. I think I was doing it the other way because for whatever reason, and some project I was working on, cover wasn't working correctly, probably obviously because of me. But anyways, this is the way to go. You still need to, well, let's see. So if I set the height to 150, it still looks like it's maintaining the right aspect ratio on the image. And it's still looking like it's centering it. For putting the size on the image itself. So if I make this 800, it's still looking like it's going. It looks like we don't need to have an actual wrapping element on this image, which is perfect. This is exactly the behavior that I want. Well, the idea is that I don't want it 100% height is because when someone is uploading an image, if they have it at different heights, then the image itself, like it will be different. Depending, like if we set this to 100%, okay, let's just copy this. But let's get an image with a different aspect ratio. So you mean setting the height by the container or wrapper? Oh, like if I wrap this image, I think this is what you're suggesting. If I go, what is it? Control Alt G. Yeah, there we go. And say, let's just blog one image container and set this to 100% and set the height to 100%. Is that what you're suggesting? But if you're setting this to 100%, I think you're already getting what you need. I guess the thing too is it would depend on how people are positioning the image even within the overall container, within this one, the blog one container. Because basically I want the image to be 100% of the container anyways, which makes this class here and this wrapper unnecessary because it's just going to use this one right here. Which I think from what you're saying, this one should be set to 100%. And the height, I think we'll just set that to auto because it'll just go auto, whatever it ends up being. So yeah, right. Let me just replace this image with something with a different aspect ratio. Right, so that has a much crazier aspect ratio. And again, but it's still maintaining the same height. So that way the blog masonry is going to be consistent regardless of what somebody chooses for the image. So I mean, would always be 100% width and height of the container. And then set dimensions on the container wrapper. Right, yeah. And I think that's exactly what my initial thought was to do. It is exactly that. But with this way, I think this achieves the exact same thing, but without having to have that extra div container. Only because we want to have the image the same width as the full layout of the blog post. If we wanted to have the image a different size, then we'd have to do exactly what you're suggesting. But I think it gets the same result. That's my thoughts on it anyways. But yeah, either way is going to work just fine. Except, okay, this is all image 3. We got to rename this. So this is going to be blog 1 underscore, actually we'll call it not even image. We'll just call it thumbnail because that's more, it's just more appropriate. But we got to height 100%, and that's going 100% of whatever this container is, but we don't want that. I think we want, well, I mean, we want it to be whatever we want it to be. And we don't want to use pixels. If we use relative units and say, I don't know. Again, it's hard to know what a good aspect ratio is going to be because every project's going to be different, but I think that's good. We'll set that to 15 right now. Okay. I can't get enough of this cat with his stupid sunglasses. Okay. Okay, blog 1 container. And now we are going to put in the other information. So the other information we're going to have is we're going to have an author. Well, the first one that I did, we have the title and the date and the text, the read more. I think we should almost put all metadata for each blog, and then people can decide whether they want to have more or less. And it's also, yeah. Okay, so heading 2. This is a blog post. Maybe. Then we want to have an author. I guess we'll just put my name for now instead of something slightly less ridiculous like John Smith or whatever. Let's go. We probably want to do something. Well, hang on. Thinking of lots of things at once here. August. But geez, August. It's November. Man, oh man. This is crazy. November 2020. Oh my goodness, I can't even type. Okay. We author, and we're going to want also, we're going to want a category. And then we're going to want, what am I doing? Control E, there we go. And text. And then tags. I don't know. We're going to tag it Webflow. Okay. And we're going to want to group these. Let's start with tags because that's fun. No, Control Alt G. Nope. That should work. Control Alt G. Control Alt G. Blog underscore tag. Oh, no. Should it be blog one or just general? Because I think we're not going to make different types of tags. This is where I feel like when I'm making different components, where you make one component for a blog layout, and then it has basically almost everything that anyone would ever want to put within a blog, like layout or whatever, that they can take it and then copy and paste it and then just order it in whatever way makes sense for them, as opposed to creating 20 different blog layouts that are all just slight variations of the different thing. But again, I totally get it. I totally understand the principle behind that, because somebody that just comes in, they just want to cut and paste and they just want to get on with their day and just build the website as quickly as possible. That makes perfect sense. So I don't know. I'm still torn. Let's go with this for now, and then we'll see. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see how things go. And I think I'm going to start probably this weekend and just putting my nose to the ground and just grinding this out like 12 hours a day and just working on this and getting version 1 outdoor and ready for everyone to start testing. Okay, so so blog 1 underscore tag text. And so what we want to have in the text, let's get sizing. We want it, actually not the font size, it's text size. Sure, let's make it tiny. And we actually want this to be inline block. And actually, hang on. We'll do that to the actual tag itself. Make it inline block. And then we'll give it a background color. Oh, excuse me. Dun, dun, dun. Background color. Oh, geez, so many different things that we can do. We don't want it to look like a button, so let's make it accent light. And let's give it some padding. What does it look like if it's tiny all the way around? No, we want a little bit more than a little more than that. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if this sizing, when I do things on here, if I should be using if I should be using these variables or not. I don't know. Let's go to the text. Let's give it a little bit more oomph on the weight. And let's do another tag. In fact, actually, let's group everything. Blog one tag container. So we have all our tags here. Webflow, and let's just call this, I don't know, Piixel Pieces. Sure. And we will display these, or this, as flex. And we'll just throw a little bit of spacing in between each tag. All right, so those are our tags. In fact, I don't like it up there. And all right. Right, I'm having an issue. This is a style guide issue that we need to address, and it's the line heights. So all H2 headings so I have it as REMs. I think I needed to fix that. Can I see what they are? Right. They're all variables with the line height. Why do they have this? Why do I have this as EMs? Did I do that on purpose, or is that just a mistake? Let's see. No, I still have it as this. If I change this, where are we? Where to go? Yeah, right. I know why. Because if I do it with relative units, then that's going to be way too... It's going to be way too much for others and way too little for like larger ones. Like what? Let's just If I change this to REM, let's go back here. Yeah, so these ones, yeah, it's okay, but then these ones are way too small. So I think that's why I set it to EM, because it's going to be relative to the whole size of the project, as opposed to relative to each individual heading. So that being said, I think 1.35 is way too much. Maybe it should just be something like 1.1 or 1.125. That's still almost too much for H1, H2. Let's go here. Okay, let's unlink that. So 1.125. If I make this no unit at all, it's still going to be the same. I wonder if it's just... Can I edit this right here? I can. It's just one. How does that look? And then you can see everything else here is getting bunched up a little bit. 1.2. Maybe we'll set it to 1.1. Let's go here. 1.125 EM. Oh, that'll be a little bit better. So I know for me, I think I like the spacing on my headings to be a lot less than the spacing in my paragraph text, but that's just a personal preference. You're not going to get it right for every single project and every single person's tastes, especially how their taste comes when they're dealing with typography. Okay. So let's leave that for now. This is actually, we want to give this a smaller heading style. I guess that's just for this. I wonder if that's even necessary. If we want it even smaller. That looks pretty good in comparison. Okay, so now we want to have the author. We'll say now I'm just looking about like the bylines. Now we should display those. If we should put all these, if we should combine these together. I just had a really good idea. Sorry, I got to write something down. I don't want to say what it is yet because it might be a really good idea or it just might end up being so completely stupid. Just about what to do in terms of how many different options to have for different layouts. Okay. Oop. Okay. All right. I have to sit on that. Let's see if that's going to make sense. Okay. Sorry about that. Back to work. Okay, so the written by. So how should we do that? Should we wrap that up? How would someone want to use this? We want to be as minimal as possible. So I think what we can do is we do have oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, there it is. We do have, what are the other? We do have some styles, I think, that can help with layouts. We should anyways. Where are all these helpers? Or utility, I guess. Yes. Oh, I thought there was a utility for having two things side by side. Was there not? Could have sworn there was. I could have sworn there was. Oh, here it is. Oh, but for button group. Right, if you want two buttons side by side. There should almost be like a flex utility. Yeah, I guess maybe not. Well, so from TestBot, I'm 18, building a web development agency. Oh my goodness, I can't read this. I gotta extend this. Your content is very helpful to me. Well, I'm glad to hear. Thanks for sharing your journey. Every time I watch your videos, it feels like I'm on the right path. That's awesome. That's really great to hear. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, let me know how it goes with your web development agency. Because yeah, I mean, that's how I started. Been freelancing for quite a long time, on and off for like 15 years. So definitely a great way to go. Definitely like especially at 18 years old. I mean, that's awesome. So keep it up. Let me know how it's going. And if there's anything I can do to help or you have any questions, just let me know. Yeah, we should all have our own agencies because it's awesome. Okay, so let's work on this. Yeah, let's wrap it in something. What should we wrap it in? Let's call this, what should we call it? Do we class it? Let's class it specifically for this. So like blog one, I almost want to call it like meta, like the meta container, or because we're going to need one for the written by, and then one for the published on, and probably one for, you know, updated on as well too. If people make any updates to text or whatever. So what do we call that? Let's just call it meta. Like metadata, which is kind of like metadata on the blog post. Technically. Blog one. Meta shit. Meta text. And then this one would be the blog underscore one meta, and this is the actual data. Oh God, this is horrible. Let me know if those class names are just absolutely ridiculous, and we'll change them and think of something better. But basically, this is like the way I think of this. This is the metadata for the blog post, right? Like who wrote it, when it was published, whatever the metadata is for the database, and then the metadata, that's the author, and this is the date published, you know, edited date, all that kind of stuff, right? So, I mean, it could be like post author. But the thing is that these classes are probably going to be the same. We're going to want them to look the same, right? So having this post author and then another one for post date, different classes, but the exact same styling. Yeah, not the greatest idea. So, but anyways, let me know what you think. Blog underscore one, blog dash one underscore meta. Right. That's the category. No, we actually don't want that because that's going to be category. So that's a little bit different. We need another text block. Actually, what we can do, we'll just copy this one, paste that here. Published on the date. Okay, so let's just take this meta. Let's flex it and a little bit of gap as always. Blog meta text. We are going to make this. Should this one be bolded or should the name be bolded? I almost think this one should be. And let's make this a little bit lighter. And then make the text. It's so hard to like style something, but not style it at the same time. Because the whole idea is that it's supposed to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's supposed to be like unstyled, right? Like just super, super simple and minimal. Which maybe I shouldn't even be doing this. I don't know. But I guess I just want people to be at least to be able to visually kind of see some of the differences and get a feel for where I'm going with this and where they can take this stuff. Okay, so and this here is actually going to be blog-1 meta data. Jeez, oh my goodness. Create. Isn't it already created? Oh, no, I didn't do this right. Oh, it is wrong. This is wrong. Ah, shit. Okay. Let's rename this. These underscores and dashes. Yeah, I know it already exists. Just okay, clear. Oh. Yeah, I'll remove all these styles. Sounds good to me. Okay, now I should be able to go back here, rename this blog -1 and then underscore. It's getting used to the whole client first and the folder nomenclature. Okay, now we can go blog1, meta, and that's the actual data. There we go. Actually, now that I'm thinking about this, should this one be a link? I feel like this one should be a link because generally speaking, your authors are going to have their own, well, they usually do have their own page, right? So they link it to the author's page, which then will have a list of all the different posts that they've done. But I don't know if we should do that here on this. I don't know. I'll think about it. Okay, and then we have a category. So blog1 category. And it should only really be one category. I mean, some people do multiple, but that's what tags are for. And usually it should be in one category. So, I mean, some people organize their content in really weird ways, so you can never be sure. But let's do this inline block. I guess we're going to do basically the same thing that we did with the tags. Hey Guru, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. So this kind of, yeah, we're going to do the same thing as we did for the tags, basically. So let's, but just a little bit more pronounced because it's the category, which is the main thing, not, actually, let's go like this. Not a tag, which could be multiple different things. Let's go 0.5. 0.5. And yeah, we'll give it, again, we don't want it to look like a button, but just for the sake of the template here, maybe what would be the best way to showcase this? All right, we don't want it to look like a button. What would be the best way? What would be the best way? Should we flip it? And then we make it white. You know, then we have something like this. And but we also want to have, I want to go in here and have tags. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. We're going to go wrap this around. We're going to put this in the meta. And this is blog 1 meta text. And then these are all the tags, because that's also meta. There we go. Maybe have capitals here. And then another one, which is used often in blogs, is an edited date. So, and maybe even time as well too. You know, at whatever, 2 p.m. That's not fitting well. Let's put it in military time. Drop the tag title. Everyone knows it's a tag. For sure, 100%. What I'm thinking of is, again, for building something for the masses, for the most people, the idea in my mind, and I could be wrong about this, so I definitely need to think about this, is that you lay everything out, and when someone's going to copy and paste this thing onto their project, they'll just delete the stuff that they don't want, which is, I think, a lot easier than it is for them to re-add things that they might want to have. But the point is well taken. I don't see any other blogs right now that are like having a header of tags, or if they are, they're doing it in a different way, right? Where it's almost like on a sidebar kind of thing. So yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I'm going to go like this. And then when I go back to it, when I think about it, if it makes sense to put it back, I'll put it back. But it might not be necessary. And I don't think it is. Anyways. Okay. One thing your comment makes me think about is, like, I've done a lot of technical support at the different jobs and different places that I've been. And there's so many things that I can take for granted in terms of, oh, well, everybody knows. Even this is so stupid, but like everyone knows. You remember when computers used to have like CD drives? You'd have to kind of put a disk in or whatever the case may be. And it was like common knowledge that everyone knows what way like a CD goes into the CD-ROM. And I had some tech support where people literally would put the CD the opposite way and put it underneath. And they're like, it's not working. And it's just like, okay, well, I guess you have to come up with, make sure your CD is on the right. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. And there's other things too of, oh, something's not working. It's like, well, did you try plugging it in? It's like, thank you for the help. So most people know things, yes. But is it always 100%? Not all the time. Anyways, well, good times doing helping people with their problems. But it makes you feel good though, because you help people that have like the simplest of problems. But okay, so we got our blog container. So this is there any other metadata that we're missing here that is generally standard that most people have when they're displaying blog posts? Not the full blog post page, but just when they're on the home page, usually is where they are, or even when they're on the intro blog page, not the individual blog post. Yeah, remember the CD days? Yeah. You remember when the internet was on like AOL? They used to hand out those AOL CDs and you just get them everywhere. It's like, hey, look, the internet's here. Oh man, the old school days. And then the sound that the modem would make when it'd be connecting to the internet. And then you wanted to use the phone. Someone's on get off the internet. I need to use the phone. Oh man. Old school days. And then it kind of makes you think of like, what are the stuff that we're going to be laughing about that we do now that in 20 years be like, oh, you remember people going on their phones and typing in to get stuff on a screen. It's just the implants or whatever. I don't know. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. Man, oh man. Crazy times. All right. So let's space this stuff out a little bit. Oh, wait, well, what was the question? The question was, did we miss anything on the blog layouts? We seem pretty good. What else could we be missing? We got categories, we got tags. What does, I know Webflow, when you actually make a collection, for example, let's do a blog, and what do they have? They have the blog post, the summary. Oh, that's what we're missing. We're missing the summary. There we go. Thumbnail image, featured color, and that's it. They don't even have anything else. Okay, so yeah, discard. Yeah, of course, we need the summary. Man, crazy. How did I miss that? And we'll put that in a paragraph. This is a blog post about how awesome it is going to be once we release Piixel Pieces and create a product which is going to help people build awesome websites for their clients and make just a boatload of money. Yeah. Okay. So, and we need, of course, like a read more button, which is easy. We'll just make a read more button. But now we could do the 3 lines thing. Text is 3 lines, so we can do that. So it like ... I mean, yeah, a lot of people do things they don't like this, or well, I like it. I think that's really good. But some people don't, so they can obviously just hide that if they want. And okay, let's go with the button. Actually, we can't. I don't want to use buttons. We need to use a link because this is not an action. It's a link. So better to use a link than a button, if my semantics are correct. Oh, right. But this is the thing too. The button in Webflow, the buttons in Webflow doesn't actually use the HTML button. Right. So maybe we should just use button. That's the one thing that I don't get in Webflow is why don't they use button for button? Unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure. Webflow. Animated button. No. What are they saying? Button design best practices. Yeah, not quite what I'm looking for. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Anyways, so if it is a button, then we can use button, which I guess makes it a little bit more clear when you're within Webflow to navigate to that. And I think maybe you have different options for buttons. Oh, no, you don't really here. Anyways, so let's make this into a button, obviously. And read more. Or read article, whatever. Read more, I think, is pretty standard. Okay. So all this here, without the button, this is going to be blog1 underscore meta container. So that's all the metadata. And so what we can do is actually probably a little more than that. No. I'm gonna add some spacing. What should we do with this? I mean, I'm tempted to go like this. So I could just kind of distribute things. But I don't think that's going to give people the flexibility that they're going to want. Then we'll have to change this up here. And I don't want to start getting into that kind of stuff. No flex there. I think we'll just go like, I think we'll even call this category tag. Or, yeah, it's tag, basically. And we'll just go on the individual pieces, I think. I think that'll be fine. And the blog meta, maybe just a little bit of margin behind those. And then on the tags themselves, I mean, we might want to do something. Yeah, I mean, my gut is telling me not to worry so much about what this is going to look like, because again, this is going to be kind of tucked away in the whole like minimal section. So let's see, we got the blog one thumbnail image. So we're going to want some space below that. Yeah, so this is going to carry out a lot of styles here. If I try to use the style sheet. Because I could go padding bottom and then padding, small, something like this. In fact, maybe the category. Maybe we'll put the category right here. That'll help. Yeah, I like that better actually. That helps space things out a little bit more. Something like this. And then actually we can get rid of this. I feel like the text should not be in the meta. And that means this can go. And then this here. Ooh. I think we should go blog one underscore excerpt, right? Excerpt. How do you spell that? That's not right. I think it's excerpt. Ooh, is that spelled correctly? Excerpt. Let's see. Excerpt. Yeah, it's spelled right. A passage or segment taken from a longer work. Okay. Yes. All right. And then we do, what is it? The three lines? 3 lines. And actually, let's go back to here, and we want this to have maybe that's too much of a space. Oh, maybe just 1. There we go. Web design. There we go. So that would be a sample of a blog post with all the metadata. Yeah. I think we're good. I think that looks not so bad. So let's copy this. Let's just change this up so it could look a little bit different. And then, I don't know, whatever, business. So how to build a no, not that. How to design a website in Figma. And in business, filing a T2 tax return in Canada, which you might be able to tell that's on my mind, considering I did that recently. And I actually did get a call from Canada Revenue Agency like a week after I filed my taxes. And she was like, I have a couple questions for you, because I had to do them myself. And there's a few things that I just filled out completely wrong, which was like, it was so unintuitive trying to fill out those taxes. The software obviously didn't help. And the documentation and all the different schedules were just so hard to find. If you ever tried to read the Canada Revenue Agency, I'm sure it's probably the same in the States with the IRS, but trying to read and find all the information for what you need, it's just a mess. And you could just tell that it's one of those things where governments, they come and go, and then they just add on more and more bureaucracy to everything. And it makes things just like a nightmare to work with. It's a nightmare. Anyways, welcome to the Piixel Pieces blog. Okay. Let's just do, I don't know, just different dates. October 15th. Edited October 16th at 07:30. July 7. July 7. Whatever. Well, let's make it off. Adobe. I don't know why I put Adobe in there, but whatever. CRA. I don't know. Taxes. Maybe QuickBooks. Whatever. Actually, maybe just delete it. So it's just maybe one. And just to showcase, you could have multiple things. Taxes and I don't know. Financial statements. No, it's a stupid tag. What would be a good tag? Yeah, maybe CRA. Maybe that'll be a tag. And that's good. 3 is good. Let's delete that. I don't even know why I'm wasting time doing this stuff. This is probably going to, I'm sure it's going to change. Okay. So obviously I'm looking at this. I'm like, it looks like garbage, but again, it's not to be designed. We'll get to that when we actually build the components that are going to be like pre-built or like pre-designed, and the templates and all that kind of stuff too, right? So then we could really dial down things. And let me look at it. It's also zoomed in quite a bit. So if I zoom out, even that looks a lot better on my eyes. It's not just this big. I think what's really sticking out here is the fact that everything's like square and like button-like. But obviously it's just to highlight the fact that this is tags, and these tags, a category tag can be styled completely differently. It could go up here. It could, you know, you could put it within you could put it anywhere, right? So yeah. And so like all the different things that you can do now for a blog layout. I mean, you can have 4 columns. You can have with no images. You can have the titles in different positions, all kinds of things. But for now, I don't think it's going to make sense to create all these different types of blog layouts. It's going to be, we'll have one. And if there's anything else I can think of making other ones, then I will. But I think having one, at least for now, is going to be good. And I'm thinking everything that I'm going to build, I'm basically thinking what I'm thinking is releasing this, and I'll probably just release all this stuff for free, is that within the Naked Flow theme that we're going to be making, which is going to be the bare bones theme, is that it's going to contain all the different super minimal components that we build. And that'll be kind of put into the one theme. But of course, it's going to be actually built up to actually have the collections and all that kind of stuff. So you can just take it and plug it away, and away you go on your new project. But then when you want to join Piixel Pieces, then it's going to have all the other styles that are like pre-built and pre-made that are basically plug and play out of the box. Like if you want to take the theme, you can actually just stick in your logo and then change the colors in the blah, 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 in the variable panel, and then away you go. So that's kind of the idea that I'm thinking, and the idea that I kind of wrote down like half an hour ago, is keep the minimal components free, and then everything else like paid for. So that free stuff kind of gets you in the door, I guess. And then if you want the other stuff, then you could join. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So we'll see how things go. Everything's a learning process, and it's going to be a learning process once things go live too. So, all right. So just to summarize the stuff that I talked about at the start of the stream here, is that starting as soon as I can, probably sometime this weekend, because I have a few things I know I need to get done today and tomorrow, is start to really work hard off stream, like I'm talking 10, 12 hour days, maybe 8 to 12. Let's be a little bit more realistic. But 8 to 12 hours a day, really building out these components, really trying to get it out the door as quickly as possible. And then again, when I stream, just maybe review the stuff I do and still do some of the stuff on the stream or whatever, that if I'm not done. And then we could launch at least the beta version where people can kind of just join in and sign in and just try stuff out, because I want to get people and you guys to start using this thing. So that's what we're going to do. Anyways, all that being said, I'm going to leave it here for today because we got kind of this blog section done, which is great. And then tomorrow we'll probably work on, I don't know, what other things should we work? We can work on the actual blog page itself, which will be pretty straightforward. And then we could maybe work on some content sections or something like that as well too. So yeah, because I mean, really that's the website. You got the navigation, you have a header with the header elements, you have content, and then you have the footer. So that's kind of it. So there's not too much to it, but of course there's a million different variations you could do. Anyways, with that, I will stop talking. Thank you so much, everyone that stopped by and have joined and commented. Love hearing from everybody. Super humbling. A lot of the night, such great comments too from everyone, and I'm just happy to do this stream every day, and happy to hear that it's helping you guys out. So I really appreciate that, and thank you. And if there's ever anything else or anything that you want me to cover or to talk about, just let me know, and I'll be happy to do whatever it is that I can. Because I love this stuff, love talking about business, and I'm just hoping that we can all just, learn together and work together and be successful together, because that's, I don't know, that's what's important. So until tomorrow, I will see you. Have a great night, and take it easy.